I would be absolutely thrilled to read a little bit of my science fiction story I'm writing, aside from my paranormal horror short stories. Well, actually, this is my main focus, is my science fiction story, so here it goes. It was now 1 week since Donovan found himself in a strange, futuristic world, in a city called Illumina. He couldn't or didn't want to even think about what people back at home thought of his sudden disappearance. Home, back to his own dimension, where there were no such things as personal connection codes, the ability to teleport, info vaults with unfathomably realistic visuals, no time travel in any shape or form, and no invisibility component called eludism. I was really thinking about um, what I should call it an invisibility, a device that makes, not a device, but like a component, a formula of some sort that makes things invisible. I was thinking, and I thought, what about the word elude, which is to hide, and sight, and I give the word elude a sight. He let his mind stray from a moment on the complexities of his whole dilemma. Now he was absolutely certain that he had stepped into some other dimension that eventful night. Did any time actually pass since he was away? And if he did cross over into another dimension, there had to be a way to escape back into his own dimension, right? He felt as if he were caught between a dream and reality. And yet, as proven time and again, what was unfolding in front of him and everything he did was very real, from the touch of the cold aluminum table to the slight breeze of a fellow scientist hastily walking past him. It was confirmed. Donovan was stuck in some other dimension with currently no way out. Donovan took a deep breath and forced his attention on what he was supposed to be focused on, perfecting this invisibility component. He would have to rack his brain about his caught in another dimension dilemma later. Insight was still perfecting the elusive component, and everyone that worked in the tech lab was expected to play a significant part in its development. It was critical that the elusive component was developed to its absolute perfection. Elusive, Don whispered as he stared at the invisible component confined in the file. To elude sight. He didn't understand the science behind what made the visibility component possible, or anything he had experienced, and he wasn't about to ask either. None of this should even be possible. Being involved with this kind of technology was a dream come true. It was beyond anything Donovan could have imagined. And yet, here he was working in a tech lab, focused on building technologies that were only to exist in science fiction. As ridiculously absurd an idea it was, he couldn't help but to think, what if? What if Eluso did work on people? He was extremely tempted to test it on himself, but he dare not waste one drop of the valuable component, especially in the constant presence of Dr. Maddox. The other, the other Insight scientists examined every particle of Lucid, making it very notable and precise adjustments. Unsure of what to do, Donovan took a moment to observe. Everyone had a place and knew exactly what to do, and here he was an outsider feeling more alone than ever. Your contributions to the creation of this groundbreaking component are simply pitiful. Startled, Donovan took a slow, deep breath. Dr. Max's acute observations and precise attention to detail were more than unsettling. There was nothing that went past him, even if you were absolutely certain that he wasn't watching. I'm sorry, Dr. Maddox, I just don't. Donovan's voice trailed off, unsure of what to say. Make yourself worthy, Maddox said sharply. You know what needs to be done. I have shown you down to the most precise detail of what you are expected to do each day the moment you step foot into this lab. Do not make me regret my decision of persuading Insight to give you a chance here. Dr. Maddox's long, hard stare pierced right through Donovan. He cursed inaudibly under his breath the moment Dr. Maddox left, being careful not to be heard. How could he contribute and be worthy of assistance if he didn't even understand what the hell to even do? Part of him considered leaving the tech lab and just forgot getting involved in the first place. However, a few things put a full stop to his rash decision. Donovan had been accepted into a position that wasn't exactly easy to get into, becoming a scientist of Insight. This would be his only chance to work hands-on with the technology he could have only imagined seeing in his dreams. Also, if he did leave, he'd lose access to every luxury that Insight had provided him thus far. You know what needs to be done. Donovan calmed his thoughts as the procedures that Dr. Maddox had carefully explained to him resurfaced. The moment one stepped into the lab to begin work, one's personal connection code was automatically collaborated to include an update on any demands that currently need to be done. Any information about tasks that need to be done in the lab are constantly transmitted to all assigned personal connection codes. That included any simple yet necessary requests. Okay, so he did know what needed to be done in theory, but the idea of actually doing it was intimidating. He tapped his personal connection code in and glanced at the holographic screen that projected in front of him. Section I-7 of the lab needed a few extra watch classes. Insight's tech lab was so massive that it was divided into 10 sections. There wasn't anything unique about each section per se, but it made communicating and transporting needed materials so much easier. Okay, simple enough. He at least knew what watch classes were from taking chemistry in high school. He had used the product teleporter before just a few times, but it was simple once you knew the procedure. So far, it was the only tech inside the lab that Donovan was confident in using. I'll take care of teleporting some watch class in section I-7, Donovan said. The scientist to his nearest vicinity gave him brief yet clear acknowledgement. Donovan grabbed 5 watch glasses and opened the compartment of the product teleporter. The next thing he knew, he was flying on the floor.